let's talk about the lean canvas, which is the hardest to fill in. However, it's completely worth it, because after filling it in, you will have an entire business model worked out on a single piece of paper. Here's how to do it section by section. The first thing you need to write down is the description of which user problems is your product going to solve. As you can see, in the case of Sneak, the problems we are aiming to solve are the risk associated with buying second-hand shoes, the risk of purchasing counterfeit items, as well as the safety concerns regarding transactions with individual seller. Up next, you need to define who your customers are. Can they be segmented into smaller groups? We defined two key user groups of our product, which had very different needs and objectives in mind. What is also important is to define who the early adopters of your product will be. This way you can better plan your marketing and user acquisition strategy. The next thing you need to define is your unique value proposition. That's the key thing that makes you stand out on the market and the reason why users will be drawn to your product. As you can see, we defined two different UVPs for the two groups of users. How does your product solve the problems users are having? Try to keep this section really simple and describe the solution with a single sentence instead of listing specific features. Up next on the canvas, there's a section dedicated to the key metrics you want to track. It's really important to decide on which metrics will be crucial for your business, because it will help you better allocate resources and create a better strategy. In our case with Sneak, we decided on 6 key metrics that would reflect on the level of our marketplace success. This section of the canvas is also really important when it comes to talking to investors and presenting your pitch. Here you need to list all the different channels you can use to reach and acquire customers. Next, list all your costs, both fixed and variable ones. The next thing you need to do is to identify the sources of revenue for your business. In other words, how will you make the money? This section of the canvas is essentially your business model, so it's very important that you fill it out carefully. This last section is the hardest to fill out. It's something that can be bought or copied. The unfair advantage is really hard to find, which I can tell you from experience, because we really struggled with it. Ultimately, we have found that our own authentication system is something other companies can't ever have. Remember that the lean canvas has to be filled out in this specific order. There's a reason some sections come first and others, like unfair advantage, come last. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope this inspired you to start working on your own ideas.